We're going to go through how to fix your Pokemon so they're ready for the upper levels of the multiplayer stuff so that you guys can make sure you're getting the most out of each of your Pokemon. I'm going to start out with this rather imperfect looking Delphox right here so that it's ready for the future. I probably could do Greninja instead, that also needs some work. This is just my party from completing the story, at which point you gain the ability to judge your stats. You'll see that most of them aren't perfect, and you're also able to find your EVs. I'll go through what these are and why this is important as we go forward, and we're going to go in order of the things that you can affect. I feel like the first thing that we want to look at is the nature. In case you don't know this, that is what affects the arrows that are on the stats. So as you can see, I've got a red arrow, meaning I'm getting a bonus to attack, and I'm getting a negative effect to my defense on my Delphox currently. As you can see, even though we have those boosts, Delphox's special attack is much higher than its physical attack. This means that it is going to be much more suited to being a special attacker, and so therefore we actually want to have a boost on special attack instead of normal attack, and we'll have that preferably at the expense of our physical attack. So I'm no actual professional Pokemon player, I'm a bit of a casual, but I do know enough to know that if you do something like this, it's just going to make your Pokemon that much more effective, and you can do this pretty early in the game. The way that we do this is we get ourselves some mints. There are several shops for this, so I'm going to go ahead and show you where those are now. This is the best place to start looking for your mints, and what I'll do is I'll flash up an image that has the effects of all of the different mints on. That way you guys will be able to see it, and then when you see the type that you want, you'll be able to go and grab them. They are all grouped as a type. So for example, if we just come on in this way and we'll come over to the flower shop here, it's usually a flower shop that has the mints. You'll see that these are all the attack type mints. So these will all boost physical attack and then reduce another stat for that physical attack. Most people, I assume, will take the adamant mint, as that reduces the special attack, and so this is where you're going to come for your physical attacking needs in terms of your mints, so you can affect your nature. You're coming around the corner, and then we're going to have the defense type mints. We continue going through, and then on this left hand side we'll have the special attack type mints, so you're going to be getting your special attacker version from, and I want the modest mint for my Delphox. And then just across from it we'll find the special defense mints. That takes care of 4 different stats that we want to do. For now, I'm just going to show you guys. I'm going to use this. It'll be in your other items pocket. I'll come on down to my modest mint. I get extra special attack instead of attack. I'll go ahead and I'll use this. And now when I look at my Delphox, we'll find that I'm now getting a boost to special attack instead of normal attack. Of course, it won't actually display that the nature has changed. This is, in effect, changing the nature. That leaves us with just one, and that is getting a speed boost. For that, we want to head to the restaurant Lenore. We're going to go slightly north. You can see we're on this platform near Wild Zone 11, where we'll find the timid, hasty, jolly, and naive mints. Next up, we'll move on to EVs. I believe this unlocks late in the game, although I may have just not noticed it. But now, when we look at our stats, you can see on the right hand side we can move our thumbstick and we can see where our EVs have been spent. Each time you defeat a Pokemon, your Pokemon is given some points. Every 4 points increases a stat, but those points can be spread out. So if you got like 6 points, it was 1 point on each stat, then that's not actually going to give you any increases, and you have a maximum of like 504 points or something like this that can go on the Pokemon. What that means is because my stats are all over the place on my Delphox here, because a lot of the Pokemon that I've been fighting have given me attack EVs. Again, we are finding that we have wasted points in attack, which could otherwise be going in special attack, speed, or HP, or something like this. Whatever it is that you think is going to be advantageous. Multiplayer is kind of rough now. You can't really expect to not get hit, so you might even put points into special attack and then defense, thereby making it so that you can take a physical hit a little bit better. But that's up to you to strategize. But something that we're going to want to do, generally speaking, is we're going to want to get those points out of your Pokemon. There are 2 ways you can do this. You can either go Scorched Earth and get rid of all of them, or you can decide to take them out piecemeal. If you want to get rid of all of them, we can go to Rust Syndicate Office, you can see right here, head on inside, and then we can talk to the lady behind the reception desk who can clear them all off for 5 Mega Shards, which might as well be free with how many are out and about all over the town. I'm going to leave mine on for now just so you guys can see some other stuff, because there is a way that you could kind of control this throughout the story. So if you're looking at this early on, you could basically hedge it so that you are building up the stats that you want to do through the story and have a little bit stronger of a Pokemon that way. And we do this by using a certain type of berry. And for these, we want to go to the Magenta 6 section that we see right here. So directly to the west of this Novu Cafe, where once we arrive, this berry stall directly in front of us will sell us the types of berries that we want. I'll go ahead, I'll get one of each just so you guys can see. But this is in order of your stats. So health, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. If we go ahead, have a look in the old berry pouch and find them, we'll see we have reduces the HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed stats. So if I go to here, I can use these on here. And now we'll see that has reduced the amount of points that I currently have spent in attack. We have the two options. I'm obviously going to go ahead and I'm going to clear all of those points off now. We have our effort value points reset. And we have two ways we can put them back in. We can either fight Pokemon. Every different Pokemon gives points to different stats. If you do want to do it this way, you'll need to find a good way to focus the stat you want to put up. You can do it blindly by just reducing the stats you don't want. And eventually, as you are just battling through the story, you could end up with the correct max stats that way. There are two zones that can be used to target farm two stats. For special attack, we can head on over to Wild Zone 17. And you'll want to come from the Cafe Cyclone and across the bridge, as there are a bunch of Pyrovore up here, which will give you lots of special attack EVs. We're going to go through that for Delphox, obviously, but for standard attack, we can actually use Wild Zone 13, where you can basically defeat every Pokemon here except for the butterflies to get physical attack stats. So you could, in theory, just farm all of these up here. So if I go in, we should see we get some special attack points coming in. So those defeated, I ended up defeating an extra set because nighttime happened while I was doing it, and you should get the points so long as the Pokemon gains XP from the battle. So you don't actually need to have the Pokemon out for that to work. I of course switched to Garchomp so that I could get some ground on there, and we'll see that we are now gaining special attack points, as you can see. There are items that you can have the Pokemon hold to increase this. I don't have them all yet because I've got a lot of side quests still to do, but I can show an example with the power weight, where if I have this on, I'll gain extra HP stat. This actually doesn't require the Pokemon to be giving you the point that you need. So when I'm talking about earlier where you can just reduce the points from the type of Pokemon that you don't want, you could be doing that. Have one of these weights on, or the bracer or something like this, and you'll be, as you are battling, getting the stats that you want. My preferred method, however, is to power through it with money, because I find it easier to just go into the battle zones, grind out a load of cash, and then I can just come to a Pokemon Center. And I believe this becomes available after you have defeated Corbo. So after you've reached rank 6, you should be able to come in here, do some shopping, go to the bottom, and we'll see that we have these vitamins. These basically do the same thing. These give you 10 points each, and you can have a maximum of 252 points on each stat, which means with a little bit of redundancy, you can have 250 points on each stat. So 25 of each of these will max each stat that you can do. So you would probably, in my case, go with something like, I want some special attacks, so I want 25 of those, and maybe I want to go with HP so that I can take a few extra hits, and so I'll take 25 of those. With those now in the inventory, I can come in to my items. I believe these come under other items. So I'm going to come on in here. I'm going to use 25 of those. It'll actually let you use 26, but that's going to waste one of your vitamins. And you're going to end up with that 252, which means you basically lose a point. So you want to be on 25, ideally. And then I'm going to obviously use my special attack calcium here, which as you can see, can actually use less because I already have some points in special attack. And that finishes off our EVs. As you can see, that special attack has gone up by like nearly 100, and there is actually more that you might be able to do to it if you want to do it. So now I'm using the judge feature, which we click in the right button, and these are our base stats. There is a good way to guarantee that you'll actually get some bests on your Pokemon. So unless it's something that you can't get more of. So for example, I don't believe you can farm in the way that I'm about to tell you the starter Pokemon. I don't believe they all start as alphas. But if you do get an alpha, you are guaranteed to get 3 best stats on your Pokemon, okay? For example, in the case of my Machamp, Alakazam, and Gengar here, you can see all of them will have at least 3 bests in their stats, which means if you're willing to farm the Pokemon up a little bit first, you can avoid having to spend a very difficult to get resource on some of the stats. Because the way that we improve this is by using bottle caps. Now, there are only 2 ways that I know of to get bottle caps. You can either continue doing the Z-A battles, which means you have to grind out 50,000 points in the battle zones, and then you have to go and compete in the Quasartico Inc. tournament. And I believe there's only about a 9 to 10% chance of getting any bottle caps. That is divided between 1 bottle cap, which is like a 3% chance, and a 6% chance to get 3 silver bottle caps, which when you have some, you can then go ahead and improve the stats. Why we left this till last, because this is obviously going to be the hardest one, and hopefully you'll already have relatively strong strong Pokemon to be able to start this. It's worth noting that you do also get 10 bottle caps from the research, so you can get your first couple of Pokemon sorted out that way just by catching all of the Pokemon in the wild zones and making sure that you're grinding that out. Once you have some bottle caps, then the thing that we want to do is head over to the Justice Dojo, where we can head on in, and this is where we get to Hyper Train. So in the case of my Delphox, really, the only stats even worth looking at are the defense and the HP in this case, right? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select my Delphox, and I can either use a gold bottle cap, that'll max out all of the stats, or I can use normal bottle caps to do the ones that I want to do. So in this case, I'm just going to do my HP. I could do defense, but I feel like it's kind of a waste. For now, I'm not really going to be going into the PvP, and this is just going to make it so that when I'm doing the challenges to get more silver bottle caps, I'll have a better time with my Delphox. And now, when I look at my stats, we'll see that I've got best in speed, special defense, attack, and I've got hyper-trained HP, which means now that my Delphox hits nice and hard, and hopefully can take a couple of hits before it goes down.